Welcome to this deep dive where we're going to be talking about, well, embracing change. You know, that thing none of us are super fond of.
And the wisdom of impermanence.
Exactly. So we're diving into Anicca. We've got your notes, excerpts from Lesson 3, Impermanence, the wisdom of embracing change. Ready to unpack it all.
It's one of those concepts, it can really change how you see things.
Yeah.
Once you actually start, living it, not just knowing about it.
Totally. And the source material, it kicks off with this really neat metaphor, the river, right? Always moving, changing every second. That's impermanence in action, isn't it?
Right on. And what's interesting is it highlights how impermanence isn't only about things, ending, finishing. It's about each moment being fleeting, like that river, you can't step in the same water twice kind of thing.
Oh, I like that. It's like when you really think about it, each little bit of water flowing by, that exact combo, gone forever.
Precisely. So we think we find comfort in things lasting forever, but, and here's the kicker, the desire for permanence, it actually causes suffering. Because the truth is, everything changes. Even a mountain, right, seems pretty solid, permanent, but it's eroding, changing slowly over time.
Huh. Never thought of a mountain like that. Really drives home the point change really is the only constant, huh? Which reminds me, the source mentions this king searching for life's big truth, and the answer he gets, everything changes, nothing lasts. So that's so universal. Why do we fight change so hard?
Well, it's human nature, right? We want things to stay the same, familiar, but by resisting the natural flow of change, that's where we create our own suffering. We're so busy wanting things a certain way that we miss out on what is right now, which is always changing anyway.
So letting go a bit, accepting that change will happen, that's the first step to actually being okay with impermanence.
Exactly. It's a journey. But how do we handle those big changes? The ones we don't see coming, the curveballs. Well, there's a story about that. So there's a story in the source material about Kisa Gotami. She loses her child really young.
Ugh, that just gets you right in the gut. Even today, it's something I think anyone can relate to, that feeling of wanting to just fix it, turn back time.
Right. So in her grief, she goes to the Buddha, begs him basically to bring her child back. And the Buddha, he tells her to do something, find a mustard seed.
Okay.
From a home where death has never entered.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Impossible, right?
Exactly. Because death, just like change, it's universal. Nobody escapes it. So Kisa Gotami, she goes from house to house looking for this seed that can't exist. And slowly it starts to hit her how universal death really is.
Heartbreaking. But yeah. Makes you really confront that reality, doesn't it?
It does. And that journey, as awful as it is, it leads her to acceptance, which honestly is the only way through something like that.
So it's not about a literal fix, reversing things. It's about her understanding changing, coming to terms with impermanence.
Exactly. Denial. To understanding. To acceptance. That's the path, even if it's really tough to walk. And once you reach that acceptance, that's where healing can start. That's where you can grow from it.
Makes you think about all the ways we try to hold on to things staying the same, especially with people we care about. But this story, it's like a reminder. Letting go is painful for sure, but it might be the only way to actually heal, find peace.
It's deep, man. And it goes way beyond just loss,
Yeah.
Everything in life, it's in flux. How we see ourselves, who we're connected to, even what we do for work, always shifting. Even if we don't see it.
Whoa, that's a lot to process. I mean, I get it with these big stories, but how do we actually apply this impermanence thing to our regular lives, like day-to-day stuff? That's where I guess putting it into practice comes in, right? And our source material, it actually gives a pretty simple one to try.
Yeah, they talk about just taking a few minutes to really look at something small. A leaf maybe, or a cloud, anything really. And the key is really pay attention to how it changes.
Seems almost too easy, though. How's looking at a leaf going to make me get this whole impermanence thing?
It's about perspective, I think. We go through the day, see a million things, but how often are we really seeing them? But when you stop, look at a leaf. The way the light hits it, the veins, maybe even a little bug crawling on it, that's when you start to see the truth. Nothing stays the same. Not really. That leaf, it's probably curling a bit at the edges. The color is probably changing a little. The cloud, it's morphing, moving, might even disappear while you're watching.
Huh. It's like they say, the only constant is change. But we're so zoomed out, we miss the little stuff, right?
Exactly. And the cool thing is, doing this, simple as it seems, it actually can, rewire how we think. If we get used to seeing impermanence in the small things, then when the big changes come along in our lives, we're not so resistant to it,
So it's not just about the leaf, it's like building up those acceptance muscles. Then the big stuff isn't so scary.
You got it. And the source material. It goes even further. It says impermanence, the thing we're usually afraid of. It's actually a gift.
A gift? Come on, how's that work? That doesn't track, does it?
Think about it. No change. No growth either. Use the example of, like, a caterpillar. Might be happy being a caterpillar. But if it stayed that way forever, it'd never turn into the butterfly, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. The caterpillar's got to go through all that weird transformation stuff, even if it seems kind of messed up at the time, to become its best self, right?
Nailed it. And it goes both ways. If we held on to every happy feeling forever, we'd never have room for new good stuff. Same with the bad, though, right? If pain never ended, we'd never get to heal, be happy again.
So impermanence, yeah, it's tough sometimes, but lets us have both. Good and bad. It's what lets things grow, change. Heck, it's what makes life, well, life.
Big stuff, right? So it all leads to the question, how can we use this, knowing things change, to suffer less? Because that's what we all want. Yeah, a little peace in this crazy, always moving world.
For sure. And our source, it says a lot of suffering comes from attachment. We get stuck on how we think things should be instead of just rolling with how they are right now, which is always temporary anyway.
Reminds me of this story. There's this monk. People ask him how he's so calm all the time with all the ups and downs of life. And he's just like, I learned to see everything as temporary.
So simple, but man, powerful too. Knowing this too shall pass, whether it's good or bad. Kind of takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Like, we don't got to get so worked up because we know it's not forever anyway.
And that, my friend, brings us right back to that river. We're not just watching it flow anymore. We're learning to swim in it. Life's going to have its currents, right?
Yeah.
We can get tossed around. Or we get good at navigating, find our flow, our peace, right there in the middle of all the change. Quite a thought, isn't it?
It really is. Learning to ride the waves instead of getting pulled under. This has been a great deep dive. To everyone out there listening, keep exploring this stuff, ask questions, and most of all, don't be afraid to embrace the flow. Till next time.